Previously on our adventure, Seijun noticed that all the white rabbits had turned black from a strange liquid. He and Baby Bear found squids in their pond and decided to cook them. The black rabbits and Baby Bear loved the tasty squid dishes. Meanwhile, Theo, Iona, and the wolves ran into trouble. Red locusts, dangerous pests, had invaded the tower, blocking their way. Iona showed a special badge to get them through a high-speed passageway to avoid the locusts. Back at the farm, Seijun discovered a new kind of green onion with metal leaves. While he was excited about his discovery, he got a message from Aileen, the tower manager. The red locusts had reached the 67th floor and were a big threat. Seijun gathered everyone to protect their home. Just then, Theo came back with a new friend. Iona, thinking Seijun was the Great Black Dragon, brought an unexpected twist to the story. Stay tuned as Seijun and his friends prepare to face the red locusts and discover more surprises on their journey. After seeing Iona, Seijun said in a questioning manner, "A hamster?" Then Seijun asked Theo, "Theo, who is this?" "She didn't believe that I'm a subordinate of the Black Dragon, so I brought her here." "Did I do a good job?" Theo said joyfully. Kneeling, Iona said, "I greet the Great Black Dragon. The Magician Association's chief, Iona, pays her respects." All of a sudden, Aileen sent a message to Seijun. "The tower manager says that Iona might have come to visit you, as the tower manager did not show up on time to resolve the issue with the red locusts on the 67th floor. She says that if she's the association chief, she must be a very high-ranking monster in the tower. She wants you to listen to what Iona has to say." So Seijun decided to play along, cleared his throat, and said, "Right. So, you're Iona? I can't send back a guest who came from a faraway place just like that. So would you like some drinks first?" After Seijun gave Iona a drink, she seemed puzzled. "It's nothing much, but enjoy," Seijun said to Iona. Meanwhile, in the background, Theo was startled by Quang's appearance and exclaimed, "Is it really Quang?" Seijun then got to the point, saying, "Right, Iona. What brings you here?" Iona answered, "I have an earnest request for the Great Black Dragon." Before Iona could explain further, Seijun interrupted. "It's because of the red locust swarm's appearance on the 68th floor, right?" This left Iona more puzzled. Iona shouted, "The Great Black Dragon knew about it. Then why didn't you step forward?" Seijun answered, trembling. "Sorry, there have been some circumstances." Theo and Quang barged into the conversation. Theo said, "Chairman, I'd like some churu." And Quang said, "Dad, I want food too." Seijun shouted, "We have a guest here, guys." Meanwhile, Iona was deep in thought. What's this relaxed atmosphere? Is he really the Black Dragon? More than anything, what's with them calling him Chairman and Dad? Other than his black hair, he doesn't look like anything remotely resembling the Black Dragon at all. On the contrary, his appearance looks closer to the human species that got swept into the tower recently. The same goes for the absence of power I'm feeling. It's weak. But the Black Dragon's energy cannot be overcome by any living creature in the tower. Undeniable traces of strong magic power are faintly flowing out only from certain areas. I don't know why that's the case, but who in the world is he? While Iona was thinking those things, Theo fought with Seijun and got some churu. Then Iona took a sip from the drink and suddenly looked shocked. What's this? I can feel an intense burst in my energy and mana from this red, thick liquid. Moreover, it's sweet and tasty, she shouted in amazement. Seijun then said in a happy voice, "Tasty, isn't it? It's magic cherry tomato juice mixed with honey. The rabbits cultivated the ingredients themselves, along with honey from poison bees." Iona asked in a soft voice, "Magic cherry tomatoes? May I see them?" Then the father rabbit brought some cherry tomatoes and said, "Here they are, milady." After seeing the rabbit, Iona asked him, "Did you come from the Red Ribbon Kingdom of the 55th floor?" The father rabbit answered, "Yes, Seijun Nim. The Great Black Dragon took us in." Iona took a cherry tomato in her hand and said, "I've never seen this item before. Do you have other items?" Seijun started happily explaining, "We have sun pumpkin sweet potato, carrot of agility, and corn of stamina. I guess we'll be harvesting peanuts soon too." "Peanuts?" Iona asked in a questioning manner. Meanwhile, in the background, Theo gave one churu to Quang, patted his head and said, I'm just giving you one. Seeing this, Seijun laughed and said, I'm proud of you, Theo. Meanwhile, Iona was looking at the wolves, minotaurs, and rabbits living in harmony, and all the creatures were happily laughing. All of a sudden, Iona realized something. I see. Has he been taking care of monsters who had nowhere to go, while working on solving the food crisis and researching items? The fact that I only feel the black dragon's energy weekly must be out of his consideration for the monsters. I realize now how dense I was to have not understood him who sacrificed himself for the tower and lowered himself. Seeing Iona's sad face, Seijun started talking again. And Iona, about the red locust problem. But Iona stopped Seijun and knelt before him, saying, I apologize. A lowly creature like me could not understand the deep grace of the black dragon. I've committed a grave sin. Puzzled, Seijun asked, What are you on about? Then Seijun took out a tough blade green onion and said, I think this may help. What do you think? Iona looked at it and said, Tough blade green onion? In a questioning manner. So Seijun started explaining. Eskimos are said to be able to easily hunt even fierce wolves with just one bloodstained knife. It's simple. They would repeatedly freeze the knife with blood and bury it upside down in the snow. Starving wolves would smell the sweet scent of blood and start to lick it. As time passes, the blade would cut their tongue, and they'd shed their own blood. But as their tongues are numb due to the cold, they fail to recognize that they're dying. That way, they keep licking their own blood and die. That's what I once read in a book. Hearing this story, Theo said, That's too scary, Elka. I'll give you fish, so don't lick blades. So Wolf Chief Elka said in a sad way, I don't do that kind of thing. After listening to Seijun's story, Iona said, That's a good story. They can't differentiate between ordinary and these tough blade green onions, so they'll blindly run to it. Red locusts who have tasted the green onion would look for other green onions and rush at the tough blade green onions, trying to gnaw it, but in the end, they will cut themselves to death. All of a sudden, Iona became more joyful and said, Red locusts have a habit of preying on individuals weakened by wounds. With this, we may be able to defend the waypoint. As expected from the great black dragon, to be developing new weapons to deal with red locusts, along with solving the tower's food shortage. Hearing this, Seijun laughed in a disturbed manner and said to himself, It seems like I've caused an irreversible misunderstanding. Then Seijun took the tough blade green onion in his hand and said, Anyway, I'd like to test if it'll go according to my theory. It hasn't been long since I harvested the tough blade green onions, so I should count how many I have as I divide and plant them. So Iona said in a confident voice, If it's that problem, please don't worry. I have a few red locusts. To Iona's words, Seijun looked puzzled. All of a sudden, Iona opened a small portal. Then she put her hand inside the portal and started to pull on something. Then a few red locusts came out with black smoke. Seeing this, Seijun and the rabbits got a bit afraid, and the mother rabbit started to cry. Seijun said in a trembling voice, These are the red locusts? Then Iona said, I captured a few of them for experimentation, but how fortunate. Black Dragon, what do you want to do with them? Seijun said, Wait a moment, and got up from the ground. Then he planted a green onion and a tough blade green onion in the ground. Then he said to Iona, Iona, could you release the red locusts now? So Iona released the red locusts. The red locusts started flying toward the green onions. First, they went to the green onion plant and started eating it. Once they finished eating the green onion, they flew toward the tough blade green onion. But as soon as they got near the tough blade green onion, they got split in half. One after another, all the red locusts were destroyed. Seeing this, Seijun joyfully said, That's it! It's a success! All of a sudden, a pop-up window appeared, surprising Seijun. It said, You have achieved the great feat of a farmer by killing pests with crops. One job trait is added as a reward for the achievement. Job trait EXP points can be gained when crops catch pests. Puzzled, Seijun said, Farmer's achievement. If I catch red locusts with crops, I can obtain EXP points? Then Seijun became even happier and said, This is wonderful, isn't it?
Meanwhile, outside the tower, Don Shik visited his master. The master laughed and said, Kim Dong-shik, as expected from my disciple, to have raided the 38th floor faster than expected. Dong-shik thanked his master. Then the master again said, "The fact that you're visiting me as soon as you got out of the tower must mean that you have some really good news, right?" Dong-shik, smiling, said, "As expected, master is quick-witted." Then Dong-shik took out the pumpkin sweet potato, surprising his master. Dong-shik said, "Master, everyone is waiting for the hero's return. Let's go." And the master happily said, "To the tower." At the end, an information window popped up saying, "The curse of flames will be neutralized for 5 hours. Don't forget to subscribe to the Asura Recap YouTube channel for more exciting content and updates."